I truly believe that it is long past due. The time has come for the County of Los Angeles, as the region's largest employer, to provide paid family leave for its 114,000 employees. If the county is to attract the region's top talent, it should align with many public jurisdictions across the country, including the cities of LA, San Francisco, and Chicago, and LA Unified School District, in offering paid family leave. Most importantly, from my perspective, this is a racial, gender, and LGBTQ plus equity issue. The county's current benefits package does not provide short-term paid disability leave for non-birthing parents, and any employee with a sick family member is not able to receive paid leave. That's the impetus for paid family leave. This hurts families who may have non-traditional family structures, like parents who are adopting. It also hurts families who are perhaps sandwich generation and have caregiving responsibility for sick family members. And only the most privileged employees can take advantage of our current state and federal laws that only offer protected unpaid leave. Additionally, family caregiving responsibilities tend to be particularly substantial for people of color who are more likely to live in multi-generational households than our white family counterparts, according to data from AARP. According to the Pew Research Center, Black and Latino workers are more likely than white workers to report that there was a time in the past 2 years when they needed to take leave for family or medical reasons but could not take it. And this is likely because they couldn't afford to go without pay. I held this motion along with item 15 because it also addresses protected leave. Item 15 states in its preamble, quote, accordingly, the county takes pride in its adherence to federal and state regulations, including their rights to protected leaves of absence, including the Federal Family and Medical Leave Act and the California Family Rights Act and other protected leave benefits. From my perspective, it is not enough for the county to educate its employees about leave programs when many people won't be able to take their leave because they can't afford to go unpaid. Encouraging research from California State Paid Leave Program, the longest running program in the country, thanks to our former colleague, Supervisor Kuehl, when she was in the state legislature, finds that the state's program has increased parity in the duration of leave taken by white women and women of color. Before the state's program, black women took on average just 1 week of maternity leave, and white non-Hispanic women took 4 weeks. After implementation, black and white mothers took an average of 7 weeks of leave. That's why the mandatory option is the best path forward. It allows for us to share the responsibility of investing in our parents and caregivers. When families in LA County are thriving, when employees in LA County are thriving, we all benefit. The CEO's proposals for the voluntary option are prohibitively expensive and assume employees will plan for family emergencies in advance. Based on the CEO's report, those earning the mean salary as proposed in the motion would be paying $655 per pay period for the voluntary program, compared to $27 per pay period for the mandatory program. This leads to serious equity concerns given the high costs and implications for who will get to take paid family leave in the first place. Our board prides itself on our commitment to equity, and so we must adopt paid family leave for our workforce. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's important as a board of all women that we bring this issue forward to talk about it. We've been working on it for a couple of years on my team, and I thank you for the amendment language. I got it very late last night, Madam Chair, and I cannot support it, and let me talk to you a little bit about why. First of all, the CEO's report on options for paid family leave came out in October of last year. Offices were briefed in early November. And again, we've really been trying to work on the most viable path forward for quite some time. Of the options presented, the mandatory option is the most equitable and allows an employee to take leave at any time. For adoptions, illnesses, family emergencies can come at any time, and not just when you've had the opportunity to plan in advance. While I certainly completely understand the desire to have the county have some skin in the game. Let's talk about our budget process and where we are in terms of budgeting. We pass motions by this board by the dozens that somehow don't find their way into the budget process. I think we shut down the budget for next fiscal year, December 12th. So my concern is we will pass something today and pat ourselves in the back and say we passed paid family leave, but how will we, I hope that we will have the same amount of vigor and interest in making sure that the money is in the budget and we actually fund the program when it comes forward in June. And this will require us to include funding for other essential programs in a very tight budget year when there's no additional general fund revenue, as we've been told by the CEO. So if we're going to put skin in the game, then we as a board have to prioritize it and make sure it gets funded, not simply pass another motion that doesn't see the light of day because there's no money associated with it. I also hope that we'll ensure that employees don't have to exhaust all of their personal time before accessing this new, quote, benefit, as the CEO suggests in the report back. That's not paid leave. And finally, I think when I look at option 1D, it only allows for 8 weeks of paid family leave every 2 years rather than 8 weeks annually as proposed by the motion in chief. Even with the cost spread out over 2 years and a county subsidy, the program in 1D would cost the average Megaflex employee $233 per pay period. By comparison, the mandatory program put forward in the motion in chief would cost the average Megaflex employee $26.77 per pay period. So while I'm thrilled that people want to focus on this, I think that we have a responsibility that if we're going to provide true paid family leave to county employees, that we also have to guarantee that it's going to be funded. The pilot, as we've put forward, could go and be implemented in 2025. I believe we've missed the funding option time for this next fiscal year, so it would delay implementation. And I don't think if this board is going to support the proposed amendments, we can afford to do what we often do, which is to tell the CEO to go find the money to make it happen. If it's going to be a priority of people who support the motion, then the folks are going to have to make sure that it's funded. The option that I brought forward after reviewing what the CEO put forward, after many meetings and actually 2 years of trying to figure it out, is the best option we could come up with that gives a sense of how many people will accept the benefit, and in the long run give us a clearer, more accurate account of what it could cost the county if we were to implement a paid family leave. To your point, Madam Chair, that the county would have some skin in the game. At this point, we have no idea how many people would take advantage, and this again is a pilot to give the county more data to try to figure it out. For those reasons, I will not be supporting the amendment and will continue to stand by the motion in chief.